Hello, welcome to my channel. Today we are going to discuss in material handling the hoisting equipment. Basically, this video is the continuation of our previous video where we have already discussed about the hoisting equipment basics and the basic part of the hoisting equipments, like we have discussed on chain and chain sprockets. Then we have discussed about different type of chains like welded chain and welded chain sprocket, then roller chain and roller chain sprocket. Then also we have already discussed on steel wire ropes and drums. Then you know that rope drums, they have a separate they have a separate design calculation, and we know that hoisting equipments, what are their uses and what is the hoisting equipment looks like. Okay, so basically you know that hoisting equipments actually lifts the load. That means any kind of hoisting equipment, there is a variety of equipment which falls under this heading, or that means hoisting equipment. Like they can use in different type of lifting and positioning of large and heavy loads in different industry like automotive, chemical, then commercial, printing, manufacturing. So there are different hoisting equipment. There are different areas where this type of hoisting equipment can work. So basically, there are manual hoist, air hoist, electric hoist, end effector. So the different parts are available for any kind of hoisting equipments. And in this video, what we are going to study some of the hoisting equipments, basically the part of the hoisting equipments, and what we have already discussed in our earlier video, that I have said earlier that the system of rope chain, rope drum, then chain and sprocket. Now we are going to discuss about the another part, that is the pulley and pulley system, where that rope drum, or you can say steel wire ropes, are being used. Now in case of a pulley system, you have already very much familiar with this system in earlier stage when you have studied physics or physical science, and you have studied the engineering mechanics. So you are very much habituated, or you can say that you are very much familiar with these pulley system terms. So once again I am repeating another thing, that is, what is pulley system. A pulley system make it easier to lift an object than lifting the dead weight by hand. Okay, a single pulley essentially changes the direction of the pull or force applied. When a person uses two or more pulley in a system, then the system also multiply the force applied beside the changing its direction. With one fixed and one movable pulley in the system, it essentially doubles the weight of the load you could lift without help from another person based upon the weight you can lift. The pulley is nothing but a simple machine. As you know that there is a certain mechanical advantage, because simple machine gives always some kind of mechanical advantage, essentially making you stronger than you are in real life. Basically, if you consider that 1 Newton to move 1 kilogram of mass at the rate of 1 meter per second squared in the direction of applied force, then you can easily calculate the mechanical advantage of the pulley. Okay, while you are considering about pulley or using one pulley, you know that a single pulley, there is a single pulley and multiple pulley system. Okay, now pulley can be of two design, one is fixed, another is movable. Now this fixed pulley having fixed axle are also called guiding pulley, as they help to change the direction of the flexible element. Then use of each pulley increase the pull or effect or on the rope because of the resistance offered by the pulleys. Pulley resistance arises out of the resistance of rope to bending over pulley and frictional resistance in the pulley bearing. Now movable pulley have movable axles to which either load or effort is applied. Accordingly, there are two applications of movable pulley: firstly for a gain in force, and secondly for the gain in speed. So you can easily see there is simple pulley system and multiple pulley system designed over here. Now, combination of several movable and fixed pulley or sieves intended to achieve a gain in force or gain in speed is actually known as a pulley system. Now, the shortcoming of the simple pulley system, where a single entity is used, these shortcomings basically are shortcomings of directly suspending load from the rope end or from employing simple pulley for gaining the force during hoisting the load. They are basically the different parts of rope are in one plane, and this may allow the load to swing freely at right angles or parallel to the plane of the rope. Then it may happen that because of the coiling of the rope in drum along its length, the load is also moving along its horizontal direction. But in case of a multiple pulley system, these shortcomings can be easily avoided. Especially in case of a electrical driven winch or crane hoisting mechanism, the load is raised in a strictly vertical direction and with less tendency of sway or swing. With the use of multiple pulley system, the force acting on the ropes is reduced and the size of the rope reduced as well. And as well as the drum size can be reduced by consequently drum size can be also reduced by the means of the reducing rope size uh, and the reducing the force. Now it also reduces the size as well as the weight, and it also reduces the cost of the entire mechanism. Actually, in multiple pulley system, load is hung from more than one pulley mounted on a common shaft. Now, in this system, the two ends of the wear rope are fixed on a drum or two drums with right and left hand helical grooves. This rope passes from one half to the pulley system to the another by means of compensating pulley, which simultaneously equalize the length of the rope parts when they stretch not uniformly. Now, basically, in case of a multiple pulley system with four parts of a rope, which are generally used to carry up to 25 tons, there is some kind of a transmission ratio which is indicated by I, and it is supported as 2. It is considered as 2 as the length of the rope is being wound around each half of the drum is 2 into h. Okay, where h is the lifting height. And if we consider the system efficiency, it will be around 0.94 considering different calculations. Okay, there are some kind of arresting gears and brake also available in case of hoisting equipment. Basically, the use of this arresting gear or brake is of paramount importance to prevent the raised load from getting lowered of its own weight when it is raising effort is withdrawn. Okay, now we are going to discuss about different load handling attachment. The common attachment which is used with various hoisting equipments, they are basically hooks, grabs, grab bucket, then ladles, then electromagnets. So there are different type of attachments are available. The first attachment what we are going to study, that is the hook. Hook is nothing but a common material handling equipment. This lifting hook is a device for grabbing and lifting load by means of a device such as hoist or crane. A lifting hook is usually equipped with a safety latch to prevent the disengagement of the lifting wire rope sling or chain or rope which is to which the load is attached. Okay, now in case of this lifting mechanism, you can say that the common method of lifting unit load by hoisting equipment to sling the load by chain or rope and suspend it from the hook of the hoisting equipment. Now, for facilitating the handling of load by hook, many manufactured goods or packets are provided with the hooking facility. You can see this hooking facility in different type of containers or box, such as rings, bell, holes are created beside the box or on the box or on the metallic equipment which are being loaded. Okay. These hooks are basically made by forging and machining operations, and lastly by annealing. these hooks are sent for uses, sent for further uses. Okay, the inner diameter of the hook should be sufficient to accommodate two strands, minimum two strands of the chain or wire rope. The load is always carried by four element sling with two loops. Okay, the body of the hook is generally of trapezoidal section, while it ends at the top in a round section working under tension. The top part of the shank is threaded for suspension from a crosspiece. Hook are mandatorily to be tested under testing load and got certified before any kind of use. Basically, there are standard hooks, which are most commonly used hooks, which have a single curved form. Then there is ramshorn hooks, which having two horns like that of a ram. Then solid triangular high hook, which are used in cranes of capacity over 100 tons. Then there is hinge triangular hooks, which are made up of a twin component and much simpler for producing. Now the most important thing around, apart from this general concept of hook, that is how the hook is being used, or the suspension theory of the hooks. So basically the cylindrical shank portion, which is generally fitted to a crosspiece provided with machined turnions at the end. If the hook is fitted with a thrust bearing resting on the crosspiece top, the hook may be rotated freely even with the load. The crosspiece is pivoted in the side plates of casing, usually reinforced with a strap or shackles made of plate steels. Two or more rope pulleys or sieves may be mounted on the extended turnions of the crosspiece, or multiple pulley that may be fixed in the casings. You can see in the figure right hand side, which actually shows different arrangement of suspending hooks with crosspieces and casing with sieves. The next load handling attachment what we are going to study, that is grabs. So basically grabs is used for bulk handling of material. These grabs are mainly mechanical grabs, and these grabs are used for quick suspension and release of typical bulk loads. Certain specific grabs they are also used for different materials movement from one place to another place. Okay, you have all have seen this type of grab or grabbing attachments in different different areas of industry, where the thrashes are moved from one place to another place. Okay, now basically the special performance requirement for these grabs are conformation to the shape and the properties of the load, which is very much important. Then quick grabbing and releasing, which is a very important part for material handling. Then adequate strength and reliability is also very much important, and it also provides some safety to the main and as well as the load. It is very low weight, that's why it is very convenient for using. Now there are different type of grabs you can see in the real practical field. Number one, you can say the carrier beams, which are employed for lifting long and heavy loads. On the right hand side, you can see the carrier beam with adjustable shackle for a foundry crane is shown. Then there is crane grabs and clamps. In this crane grab and clamps, there are different types, like carrier type grabs are used for carrying short or long shafts, and clamp are used for grip sheets or plate type loads. Okay, then there is self-closing tongs, which are used for automatic grabbing or grabbing of different shapes. These tongs are made of self-closing to avoid manual intervention during grabbing. Okay, then there is the grabbing attachments. Now, grabbing attachments, they are used for lifting load or bulk materials by the means of a crane and transferring them. There are basically two types of this grabbing attachment for loose materials. Number one is the tub, which are the box type of structure made from steel sheets. These tubs are provided with doors at the bottom or side, which can be opened by pulling a rope from the crane for automatic dumping of the contents inside the tub. However, these tubs have to be filled by manually or by using other type of material handling equipments. Then there is grab buckets, which are specially designed bucket attachment which scoop loose material and dump them mechanically through manipulation of ropes from the crane. Grab buckets are used for handling large amount of loose materials through cranes. This bucket essentially consists of two shell-like scoops with rounded bottom, which are hung by 4 rods from a top crossbar. Okay, all the joints are provided with pins for pivot action. The top and the bottom cross members are suspended through ropes from a crane. Now, you know that apart from these two, there are ladles. Ladles are basically made from the plate steel and having a refractory lining and are used for carrying hot liquid materials. Small ladles or cubicles may be handled manually, but large ladles are conveyed in ladle carts, but more commonly by cranes. Then there is electromagnet for lifting the magnetic materials of different shape and size, like steel structures, beams, plates, scraps, peak, metal chips. The particular advantage of using magnet for lifting is that it does not need any time for fixing or releasing the load. Okay. Then we are going to discuss about another hoisting equipment, which is basically known as hoist. Hoist is an apparatus for raising or lowering a load suspended from a hook on the end of a chain or wire rope. A hoist may be fixed, stationary, base mounted, or supported from a overhead by a service or hook. Okay, hoists are basically rugged, dependable, simple to operate, and inexpensive. The installation is very much easy. Operation of a hoist can be by hand through pulling chain, compressed air, or electricity. Okay, so first one, what we are going to study, that is the hand operated hoist. So hand operated hoist essentially consists of a large diameter welded chain sprocket, which is rotated by a pulling of an endless chain. The sprocket is connected to another small chain sprocket through a system of gearing with large speed reduction. The gearing may be planetary spur gear system or may be worm wheel arrangement. For this gearing system, the torque is applied at the inner input sprocket, which is multiplied at the output sprocket, and a heavy load may be lifted with comparatively lighter pull at the input chain. Now, when a worm wheel is used, the gearing system is self-locking, but spur gearing system and arresting attachment is provided to avoid the descent of the load by its own weight. The entire sprocket and gearing system is enclosed inside a frame. In case of a traveling hoist, the main hoist frame is fixed to the bottom of a 4-wheeled trolley frame. The wheels are supported on the track, and the bottom flange of an I-beam is most commonly used track. The pair of wheels is on one side are provided with 2 spur gears, which are connected by a smaller gear in the middle. On the shaft, the shaft of this small gear is fitted a chain sprocket, and on rotating this sprocket by pulling of an endless chain, the trolley moves on its track and carries the load to its desired point. So after that, what we are going to learn, that is, okay. So one thing you must know, that apart from this hand push trolley hoist, there is electric hoist, which is driven by electrical motor, having 1 or 2 rope drums for coiling and uncoiling the hoisting wire ropes. The hoisting motor drives the drum through a planetary gearing system, and the trolley for traveling hoist may also be powered by another motor. Motion from this motor is generally transmitted from wheel through 3 pairs of spur gear. In case of specification, irrespective of type, the most important specification of a hoist is its maximum load hoisting capacity. So maximum load hoisting capacity is the main or primary important specification. Then we can say the maximum operational lift or height is another specification for this hoist. And for traveling hoist, the most important specification is the size of the I-beam rack and the minimum radius of curvature through which the trolley can be moved. Okay. For electrical hoist, the hoisting speed and the traveling speed are most important specification. The next hoisting equipment what we are going to study, that is the winch. So if you see the figure on the right hand side, the red one, you can see that you can make a similar loop. You can see that there is a similar loop with the rope drum as winch. So winch is an equipment for pulling heavy load by winding one or two ropes on a rope drum. Okay, so it is a very common thing, and it is very much associated with the wire rope and rope drum. It is a stationary equipment which is fixed to the floor or wall. Now winches like hoist are rugged and simple equipment with minimum maintenance. Winches may be hand operated or motor operated. Now in case of a constructional features, we can see that the main component of a winch is the rope drum, which is actually supported by bearing at two ends mounted on the winch frame. Now this frame may be made of cast iron or fabricated from steel plate. The rope drum is generally single and plain, where the rope is wound in multiple layers. Now in case of a sophisticated application as in crane, the drum is grooved in two hubs for winding two ropes simultaneously. Suitable mechanism is provided for guiding the rope for proper length or groove during winding. Now this drum is connected to input effort through a series of gearing of suitable reduction ratio, which determines the ultimate pull in the rope corresponding to the torque applied at the input. In hand operated winch, the torque is applied by a hand of suitable arm length. A ratchet pull type of arrestor mechanism is an essential feature for this type of winch. Okay. Now in powered operated winch, a motor of suitable power torque capacity is connected to the gear train through a coupling. And the electrically driven winch, the magnetic or thruster brake is used in place of the prall ratchet mechanism for parking as well as controlling the load lowering. The coupling between the motor and the drive system is used as a brake drum on which the brake is applied. This type of coupling are normally known as brake drum coupling. Apart from this brake drum coupling for winches, there is also another coupling which is known as multiple drum coupling, when when a winch is an integral part of crane or derrick, a multiple drum winch can be used. The number of drums is actually determined by the number of independent operations used in the crane. One drum is required to handle the main load. Another drum may be added when the main load is double reefed, and two drums lift the load simultaneously by the winding two ends of the wire rope. So this is the basic structure of winch, and major specification of an winch are basically the pulling capacity, length of the rope, rope speed, and the number of drum used. And you can say there are other specifications which actually includes overall dimension, rope size and drum size, as well as the motor power for electrically driven winches. Now the next material handling equipment for hoisting equipment what we are going to study, that is the elevators, especially the bucket elevators. So basically this term elevator is used to signify a group of material handling equipment which carries materials up or down. And if you know, you are very much familiar with this term elevator, as you know that elevator is actually one kind of equipment which moves the load from top to bottom or bottom to top. Now this group of elevator actually includes a number of diverse type of equipment like bucket elevator, skip hoist, freight elevator, lifts, etc. Okay. Now we are going to study the bucket elevators first. Our bucket elevator is our most premier concern for this video. So in case of a bucket elevator, it is basically a powered equipment for conveying bulk material in a vertical or steep inclined path, consisting of an endless belt or chain to which the metallic bucket are fixed. With the fixed belt or chain, the bucket moves unidirectionally within a casing and collect bulk materials at the bottom end of the equipment and delivers at the top end. A typical bulk elevator have the major parts which constitutes the bulk elevator. They are number one, you can say an endless pulling member, which is nothing but a flat belt or chain. Then there is driving and take-up pulleys or sprockets at the top and the bottom respectively, mounted on bearing and blocks. Then there is metal casing covering the entire elevator. It consists head at the top and boot at the bottom. So you must understand these two terms: head at the top and boot at the bottom. And in case of intermediate section, all of these things are joined at flanges by different fasteners. Then there is bucket, which is generally made of steel sheet metal, which are attached at a definite pitch to the pulling members by fasteners. Then there is the driving mechanism, which is placed at the top, consisting of an electrical motor, gearbox, coupling. There is the whole back brake attachment, which is associated at the top pulley sprocket shaft to prevent reverse motion if the drive is stopped. Then there is feed hopper, which is attached to the boot for feeding materials to the elevator. Then there is the delivery or discharge spout, which is fixed at the top part of the casing, through which the material is discharged. The next one is the manholes, which is provided at the casing to check operation of the elevator. And the last one is the guide and guide sprocket, which is provided for the belt and chain respectively to keep them in a straight path. Basically, bucket elevator is a very simple and reliable equipment widely used in process plants for lifting of bulk materials like limestone, foundry or coke. Bucket elevator is not suitable for large load, actually hot or sticky materials, because bucket are generally loaded by scooping action at the boot section and discharged from the bucket by centrifugal force or gravity. Now there are different type of bucket elevators are available, which are actually classified on the basis of bucket spacing and mode of discharge of material. They can be classified as number 1 centrifugal discharge elevator, which is designated as type 1, where the buckets are spaced at a regular pitch to avoid interference in loading and discharging. Okay, number 2 is the positive discharge elevator, which is designated as type 3, and here the which is very much similar to the centrifugal discharge type of elevators, and in this case the buckets are side mounted on 2 strands of chain. This also provides with a pair of 2 snap sprockets under the head sprocket to invert the bucket for complete discharge. Then there is type 2 designated elevators, that is continuous discharge, where V type of buckets are used with any gap between them. These elevators are employed for handling larger lumps and materials that may be difficult to handle by centrifugal discharge. Now, when we are going to select the bucket elevator, we have to select by depending on the materials to be handled. But there is some IS code which actually indicates us you can choose the type of the elevator by depending on what is the materials you need to move, what is the bulk density of the material, as well as what is the either you need to use the belt or chain. Okay, so by this way you can easily find out what is the actual bucket conveyor you need to use. Now, number 1 is the centrifugal discharge bucket elevator, number 2 is the positive discharge bucket elevator, number 3 is the continuous bucket elevator. Now we are discussing about the bucket elevators, so we must know that what is the bucket for the bucket elevators. Now this bucket is the most important part for any kind of bucket elevator, and defined components of a bucket elevator can be mentioned by a single BIS specification number, or you can say the specification for bucket elevators. The specification number is IS 6833 1973, okay, which is reaffirmed on the year of 1996. The buckets are manufactured from suitable steel, aluminum or stainless steel sheets. These buckets may be cast also from malleable cast iron, cast steel, aluminum or even stainless steel castings. Buckets are basically classified into 2 types considering their shape. Now rounded bottom buckets are used in space bucket elevator, which is classified as A1, A2 like this way, and V type of buckets are used in continuous bucket elevator are classified as B1, B2 in this way. Specified dimension of this bucket, namely length, projection, depth, capacity, are given in that IS code what I have mentioned earlier. Okay, here you can see different sizes of bucket and their projections, depth, and the bucket angle has been mentioned. So from this figure you can easily understand how this bucket converts, bucket for the bucket converts are being used. Now the method of for the method of fixing buckets to the belt or chain, this is also specified at the fixing arrangement for bucket elevators in BIS code. And for the selection of the bucket material, that selection of the bucket is basically the based on the discharging method and materials to be conveyed. Now the most important thing you need to find out, that is the capacity calculation for a bucket in case of a bucket elevator. Now you need to find out the discharge capacity in form of tons per hour, which is given by this formula Q equal to Cf by 1000 into 3600 V by S into rho by 1000 tons per hour, where C is basically the capacity of each bucket, which is defined in liters. F is the bucket filling factor. Now this bucket filling factor indicates both loading and discharging efficiency of buckets for a particular application, and it varies between 0.85 for powdered material and 0.4 for sluggish or moist material. Then small v is the elevator speed in meter per second, small s is the bucket spacing in meter, and rho is the you know that material bulk density in kg per meter cube. Okay, now the recommended bucket spacing is also specified in the BIS code, and it is actually based on the method of discharge and size of the bucket being used. For centrifugal discharge bucket elevator, is actually varies approximately between 2 to 3 times of the depth of the bucket, while for the positive discharge bucket elevator it can vary between 3 to 5 times approximately. However, for the continuous discharge elevator, it kept marginally 10 to 20 millimeter more than bucket depths, just necessary for fixing and to do maintenance to the buckets. So, coming to the summary part, what we have already studied, that are basically the pulleys of the pulley system or pulleys of the material handling equipment. These can be classified into two types based on the design. One is fixed and movable. Now fixed pulley having fixed axles which are called guiding pulley, and movable pulley have movable axles which either with either a load or effort, on which either a load or effort is applied. Then we have studied about hook, which is a common method of lifting unit load by hoisting equipment. There are different type of hooks available: standard hook, ramps-on hook, solid triangular hook, hinged triangular hook. Suspension of hook is very much important for different arrangement with crosspiece and casing with sieves. Then we have studied about the grabs, which is a quick suspension and release type of material handling equipment used with hoisting equipment. And there are different type of grabs grabs has been found, like carrier beams, crane grabs and clamps, self closing tongs. Okay, then there is hand operated hoist, which is very essential and which consists of a large diameter welded chain sprocket and rotated by pulling of an inlet stem. In case of traveling hoist, the main hoist frame is fixed to the bottom of a 4-wheel trolley frame. Then we have studied the winch, which is an equipment for pulling heavy load by winding 1 or 2 ropes on a rope drum. Then we have studied the bucket elevators for in case of elevator, which are the powered element for conveying bulk material in vertical or steep incline path. These type of bucket elevators are being used. Now there are different type of bucket elevators also available, and that we have also studied the capacity calculation for bucket elevator, and we also know the bucket filling factors, which lies between 0.85 for powdered material and 0.4 for sluggish material. So thank you for watching this video, please write to me or please comment under the comment section if you find any problem regarding this video. Also, I would like to say for liking this video and subscribing my channel for getting more and more video. On our next video, we'll be discussing on different type of cranes, which is another part of the material handling equipment, or specifically we can say the hoisting equipment. Thank you.